Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping your clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or coming to the gym a few hours a week. We, as gym owners and coaches, have to focus on a holistic approach, looking at support systems, stress management, sleep, mindset, lifestyle, and of course, exercise and nutrition. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching, CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to make one step at a time to becoming the best nutrition coach and building an awesome habit-based coaching program. Today's podcast guest is Kayla Pollock. She is one of the lead dietitians here at Healthy Steps Nutrition. She is also the director of coach development. She is on the cutting edge of new research, and she also leads up the coach evaluation process, which is the last step of the training to ensure coaches are ready and can apply all the information that they learn in the training before working with paying clients. This significantly helps increase confidence with our new nutrition coaches and also existing nutrition coaches as they redo evaluations to constantly hone in on their skills. Today's topic is all about the common mistakes that new nutrition coaches make. If I'm honest, I've made all of these mistakes and so many more. And the goal is that you can listen to us, learn from the stories that we share today, and hopefully avoid making some of those mistakes or turn it around and start improving your process. Because at the end of the day, our job is so valuable. Chronic disease is at an all-time high. People are getting sicker and sicker. And we, as coaches, as health coaches, helping clients prioritize nutrition and sleep and support system, mindset, exercise, can help people reverse and prevent chronic disease. I'm so passionate about this. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Kayla Pollock. We will get to this episode right after this message. Did you know that HSN Mentoring has a turnkey solution to help gym owners and coaches build, launch, and grow nutrition coaching programs? From the business systems to the coach education to practical practice and role playing so that you truly feel confident and have the systems to scale and grow a nutrition coaching program. When we look at the data, nutrition in combination of fitness and accountability significantly increases client results, length of engagement, and those clients are worth 2.5 times to your business. So you're able to build a more profitable business, more sustainable business, and add a revenue stream where you can support another coach. Building a professional nutrition coaching program is a lot of work and it is a lot of time. And most gym owners feel overwhelmed because they have no idea where to start. That is why HSN Mentoring exists. We have a turnkey solution giving the training, ongoing support to help you build, launch, and grow a nutrition coaching program. If you are a gym owner, please click the link in the show note and book a free call. We'd love to chat with you to see if HSN is the right fit for you. If you are a nutrition coach looking to increase confidence and looking to get trained by us, or you want to become a nutrition coach, we do have a path just for you. There is a standalone nutrition coaching course. It doesn't include all of the business systems, but will give you the fundamental skills you need to become an effective nutrition coach and give you the practical application as well as 6 weeks of coaching so that you can see what it looks like from a client's perspective. For all of that information, make sure you click the link in the show notes. Stay tuned until the end where I fast drive some questions to Kayla and we talk about how our training differs from some of the other nutrition coaching courses out there. Enjoy this episode on avoiding the top mistakes nutrition coaches make. Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me again.
You lead up coach development at Healthy Steps Nutrition and HSN HQ. And I thought it'd be really fun to talk about some of the common mistakes that new coaches make, but also existing nutrition coaches make as well. And then give our listeners practical tips to avoid them. So if you are a gym owner, forward this episode to your coach and listen anyways if you don't or you do, because likely these client coaches are going to make some of these mistakes. I know I did.
Oh, absolutely. I'm guilty of all of these. And, it's unique that we all struggle with these same things. So I'm really excited to dig into the three biggest mistakes and some tips on how to avoid them, really shifting some mindsets here.
Awesome. Well, let's start with mistake number one. What is it? And why do you think people make it?
Yeah. So the number one mistake that we see is putting so much value on macros and meal plans. And here's the thing, again, coaches out there, I am guilty of this. And what it really boils down into is we lean on those types of resources because it's black and white. It's very objective. And because of that, objectivity of it, it's safe, right?
I know, I thought that's what I needed to give my clients for them to be successful. I know that's when I started Healthy Subs Nutrition back in 2012. And it's because the dietitian I worked for starting in 2005, she gave meal plans and this whole complicated thing. And then I started doing that. And then I realized, wait a second, if I'm giving my clients a piece of paper, their success looks like following this piece of paper. And realistically, you don't have to follow a meal plan to be successful with reaching your health and wellness goals. And you as a coach don't want to put your value on a piece of paper or telling someone they did a good job and giving them a high five if they hit a number or not.
Yes, 1,000%. And we really see that on the macro side. And as my nutrition career started off a very heavy focus on both of these things, what I realized is I was really missing the opportunity to work with my clients long term, right? If I give somebody a set of numbers and macros, Nicole, they're going to take those and be like, all right, I got it. Thank you. I'll see you later. And that's really where my role ends. And I'm just missing a huge piece of what our value as a nutrition coach really is.
I think, what sometimes happens when you give people macros is they start having disordered eating habits and routines. And they think okay, well, I know I'm going to go out, so I'm going to save up all my macros. I'm not going to eat anything during the day. Or the opposite. Hey, I've got these leftover carbohydrates and fat. I'm going to go ahead and have some ice cream because it fit in my macros, not because I was really wanting that. When we look at the three core principles of Healthy Steps Nutrition, eat whole foods first, any foods, all foods have macronutrients. So you're not necessarily prioritizing whole foods first. The second core principle, focus on balance. If you're just following macros and you have to meet them for the day, doesn't necessarily mean your clients are following the balance principle. And the third principle of limiting the amount of added sugar and processed junk that everyone overconsumes, we're definitely not doing that because people are going to find a way to fit it all in on a more consistent basis, not just because they are wanting it in that moment. It's oh, well, fits in my macros, totally fine. Can you reach results by doing this? Yes. Is it helping you long-term to get healthy and become the healthiest version of yourself? Absolutely not.
No. And we really start to become with food logging and macros, and I'm seeing that everywhere at this point, is we tend to put way too much value in it. So you don't hit your numbers and you completely destroy yourself over it and you feel really guilty. And it's this negative feedback loop, really destroying the relationship that we have with our food and that we have with our own bodies. And when we start to destroy those important aspects of our entire journey, we're really digging this deep hole for ourselves that's honestly hard to get out of. And as you said, can you log your food and hit macros and see results? Absolutely. But what happens when life happens? What happens when the holidays come around? What happens when work gets really busy? What happens when you have less control over the food that you have around you, right? It's not something that's realistic for all phases of life. And if it's not sustainable, which is what we're looking for, then it's not the plan for you.
I think something that's interesting about macro counting is a very small percentage of people actually weigh and measure their food to have a estimated right amount of calories, protein, carbs, and fats in the food. So what happens most of the time is people scan the QR code, which I will admit is an easy way to do it. And then they just put one serving, but they might have 2 or 3 servings. And then you as a coach are looking at, well, all your macros you're reading your macros for the day, but they're not actually measuring out their food. Instead, could you not do photo logging? I know that's something that you do with a lot of your clients, even with coaching the coaches, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point. Photo logging is a part of everyone's journey so that you can see what it looks like and be able to give more realistic feedback based on those three principles. Are you having whole foods? Is it balanced? And are we limiting the amount of sugar and crap that we're eating?
Absolutely. One of the things that studies show us over and over again is human nature. We are going to 9 out of 10 times underestimate the amount of food we're eating. And on the flip side of that, overestimate the amount we're expending. So we're going to overestimate how hard we're working out, underestimate the food that we're eating because we just have portion distortion. We really have a hard grasp on what a serving size actually is. And it's honestly a recipe for failure. Pictures has been so eye-opening for my clients. One of the great habits that a lot of my clients start off with is the plate method, right? So half a plate non-starchy veggies, a quarter lean protein, and a quarter starchy carbs. And when we start there and I start getting those pictures in, right off the bat, my clients are like, oh yeah, that's not exactly what we're going for. Well, great. How can we make some changes? Or I start to see those processed snacks sneaking in because let's all face it, it's simple, it's convenient to grab. Then we get to dive in. Well, how did you feel after you had that? I noticed that you went for another snack, just an hour afterwards. What do you think we can do differently moving forward? And having those visual cues where clients, I can take them back a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and really pinpoint has been so, so helpful.
So if we have a coach that has been prioritizing macros for a while, and listening to this and I'm like, all right, girls, you're convincing me. Like, what is a tip that you would give them to start maybe opening up their eyes to other ways of coaching and not valuing so much the macros and meal plans that they're providing their clients?
Yeah, that's a great one. We need to take a step back. We need to look at the entire picture. And when I say entire picture, I'm talking about the holistic approach. As a dietitian who honestly loves to talk about food, you may not expect this to be the response, but nutrition and exercise, which are two of the biggest things that we hear about when it comes to weight loss goals or gaining muscle or really any health and fitness goals, are only one small piece of the puzzle. Right. Fun story. I had an amazing initial consultation with somebody in our coaching coaches program, which I can't wait to talk about. And I discussed this idea of looking beyond just the foods that we're eating, looking at that entire holistic approach, which includes all the things, right? Looking at nutrition and exercise, obviously, but also sleep and stress management, lifestyle, support system, stress management, all those things. And he literally full stop in the meeting and says, I've only been focusing on like a third of the picture here. And his eyes just got big. And it was probably one of my favorite aha moments. A light bulb clearly went off and it was so powerful. So if you're listening to this, that is what we want from you. We want that aha moment to really take a step back, look at the entire holistic approach. There are so many different impactful areas that go into this journey of optimal health.
I think macro counting for some people can work for a stint of time just to see and get an eye-opening experience for them. So, if you're a nutrition coach and all you've done with your clients is macronutrient counting or giving them meal plans, I would challenge you during the next time you meet with them, talk to them like, how are you feeling doing that? Would you be open to an experiment and trying photo logging and seeing, and let's just see what happens when you do that. And I'm wondering what would happen. Would their photo logging be consistent with like previous weeks to the meal logging? Don't have them do both because that's double the work and complicated, but just see, like, I think people are much more open to trying an experiment. So just ask them like, hey, let's do an experiment and just see how this goes for a week or 2 weeks and see how you feel. Like, my goal is to set you up for long-term success, and counting your macros forever is not sustainable. Let's see if we can transition to something a little bit more sustainable.
Ooh, I love it. Yeah.
Cool.
Go and try it out. See what happens.
Yeah. And then of course, your biggest aha moment, like, let's take a step back and remember all of these things, how we sleep, how we manage stress, the people we hang out with are all influencing the nutrition decisions, and our nutrition decisions are influencing how our mental health is, how our mindset is, how we feel, how we sleep. Like, it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. And when coaches can realize that, you're going to increase the length of engagement with your clients because there's always something to work on. And you're going to increase the buy-in because you can really focus on what your clients are wanting, which kind of brings us into common mistake number 2.
Yes. Great entry into that. Mistake number 2 is not practicing self-management. So Nicole, you were actually the one that enlightened me on self-management. So tell us about it. What is it?
Self-management is the idea of letting your first thoughts be your first thoughts. And sometimes as coaches, we obviously are in this business because we want to help people, right? Like we want to help and we just want to give that support, give that help. But ultimately, your clients have a better view of their life than you do. And sometimes when they ask a question like, Kayla, well, what do you do? Kayla's going to give me a response that works for her in her life, but she's got one child. I've got 2 children. She has these things. I have those things. Like we're not in the same place. Every person is individual. We're different. We're humans. We're not robots. What works for Kayla is not going to work for me. So the idea of self-management is like, hey, let's let our first thoughts be our first thoughts. Let's really focus on helping our client get to their best thinking. And I remember introducing this idea to the mentor team, and the immediate response was like, well, I build rapport by talking and like communicating, right? And I was like, okay, yes, like you have to have good rapport. And one of the mentors said, well, I feel like that's a really important piece. I agree 100%. And I said, how many of you guys have ever talked to a therapist? Like I'm pretty open. Like I talk to a therapist, right? Like mental health is super important on the proactive side. And I was like, I feel like I have a pretty good rapport with her, although I literally know nothing about her, not one thing. And everyone on the meeting was like, just took a step back and were like, oh man, you're right. Like you don't have to give the first response. You don't have to answer. You don't have to go back to what works for you, which is our natural response when we're new coaches, because that's not going to work for them likely. And we need to focus on them and have that client-centered approach.
Absolutely. When we started really diving into this, the idea that really came to mind is when we can practice self-management, and like you said, we get to regulate our emotions, our thoughts, our behaviors as a coach. What we're really doing is creating more space for the client to be the expert on the thing they're an expert on, which is themselves, right? A good way to think about this is I can't coach them like I'm coaching myself, because as you were saying, what works for me probably not going to work for them because their day where they are is so different. So if we can really work on this self-management, keeping the client in the driver's seat, keeping a client-centered approach, we're going to find an increase in the successfulness of our clients. They'll take more ownership of what they're doing. And one of my favorite places actually to practice self-management is actually when we are deciding on the focus or the action step, which for you current coaches out there, you might be thinking, well, we don't tell them what they should be working on. We're the coach. We're going to take a step back. Remember, when they can take ownership over it, they're going to feel more excited about it. They're going to hopefully feel more confident about it, and they're going to be more successful with it. And successful clients are happy clients, and happy clients want to work with their coaches for a longer period of time. So when we're kind of doing this whole, what do you want to focus on, and keeping a client-centered approach, that's a great place to start. Ask, what do you want to focus on? Where are you seeing an area that you'd be excited to build a plan for that I can keep you feeling supported and accountable to? And when you ask a question like this, Nicole, I don't know if you've had this experience, you might be really shocked at some of the action steps or focuses that the clients end up coming up with.
They're likely not what you go into a meeting thinking that you're going to work on, because the thing is, between those in-person meetings, life happens and there are different things that come up, and to be able to support them, you need to figure out what they're wanting long-term, but also short-term in this moment. I think one of the things when you think about self-management that's really important is embracing the pause, right? And so many people are so uncomfortable with the pause. And I remember the reason why we understand this and we're super focused on it is, I went through that intrinsic coach certification. I know you're planning to go through it soon too. And I remember doing a lot of these live calls, and there was like dead silence on the calls, and it's awkward, right? But at that moment in that silence is when you're getting the client to think, and likely they are not thinking or have not thought about the question that you're asking. And when you give them space to think, they're going to come up with a better answer than you would just place in front of them.
Yeah, 1,000%. Oftentimes when we bring this idea up, because I get to teach coaches about this, which is one of my favorite things that I get to do, I often get the question, well, sometimes what if the client's like, well, tell me what to do. What do you think I should be doing? How do we flip that and still keep the self-management, this idea of a client-centered approach?
No, the best line I have is, I have some thoughts around that, but I'd love to hear from you first.
Yeah, I love that one. That has been a definite go-to for me. And what's happening is we're kind of reducing some of the stress and pressure, because you're telling the client you're going to get the quote unquote right answer, because we're going to give you our thoughts, but we're excited to hear what they have to say, and we're giving them space for reflection. And in this busy, loud world that we live in, how often are we given a true opportunity to reflect, and not just reflect, but reflect on the goals that we have for ourselves, reflect on our own personal needs?
I think it's so important to understand, like, asking those types of questions and why you need to, because likely if you ask that question, what you would have originally said to give them, to help them, will be different after they respond. Right? Because they're going to respond and take it in a different way. And then you're going to be able to help them in the way that they're wanting to go, which ultimately they're going to be more successful with. One of the things that we like coaches to do if they're doing Zoom calls, or even just taking a moment of self-reflection, is to ask some questions, right? Like, just give yourself a moment, ask some questions like, hey, did I do well? But there are 3 specific questions that I recommend, or we recommend at HSN, that coaches ask themselves. What are those questions?
Yeah, these are my 3 favorite questions. The first one is, did what you say provide value? That's a big one to think about. Now, the second one is, did what you say help your clients get to their best thinking? Right? Let them be the expert on themselves. And the third and final one is, did what you say benefit your curiosity or benefit your client? And this is actually one of my favorite ones to talk about. To give you an example of what we mean by this, I always get sucked into vacation talk. I don't know about you, but that is my sinkhole. Someone will tell me about a vacation. I'm going to be so excited. Well, tell me what you did. Where did you go? And then all of a sudden I'm talking about a vacation similar to them that happened 2 years ago. And did what I say really benefit them? Did me asking about their vacation benefit them? Or was it for my own curiosity that then put us on a tangent and we lost 5 minutes of our meeting?
If you are a nutrition coach or a gym owner that goes over in your sessions, that is the question to ask. Because likely what happens, and especially as we have longer term nutrition clients and just clients in general, we're going to talk about other things because we know them, we love them, we want to support them in all aspects of life. But if we're not keeping the session time focused on that client, their perceived value of that's not going to be as high. They're chatting with a friend. So you have to set boundaries for yourself. I know Liz, one of our nutrition coaches and mentors, she sets a boundary for herself where the first 3 minutes, I'm going to chat, we're going to talk, but then we're transitioning right away so that I can provide value for the rest of the session for that client. And we're going to keep that super client-centered approach. But I do want to have the small talk as we jump on, or in a session as we're walking to the meeting. I think Amanda Haar, one of our dietitians at our HQ location, does this so well. She has clients back to back to back to back, and they never run over because she's so good at self-management.
Mm-hmm. She is the best. I remember when I was way back when I was just an intern, I have the pleasure of shadowing Amanda, and I was enamored by her ability to stay so on point with her meeting times. And not once did I ever feel she was rushing a client, interrupting them. And I really think her key was she asks the right questions, the best questions at the perfect time.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So if you're thinking, okay, self-management, ask yourself those 3 questions to start reflecting. Because the cool thing is once you start really paying attention and tuning into yourself as a coach, you're going to notice. And I would challenge you, if you do Zoom meetings, I would challenge you to listen to one of them and just see, am I practicing self-management? We do this even with like free intro calls. If you do discovery calls on Zoom or free intro calls, great opportunity for you to do some self-reflection and ask yourself those 3 questions. Because the truth is your story or going off on the tangent's not going to bridge the gap between the problem the client has and the solution or the person they want to become. And if you can keep your whole discovery call, your session, your meeting with individual clients based around that using self-management, you're going to help them get to where they want to be faster, and you're going to be more successful as a coach and a business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 3,
talking again about value, but if you're not providing value between your in-person meetings, you are missing a huge piece of what we should be doing here. Now at HSN, we have the privilege of having the HSN app, which is honestly the key to scalability. I will always tell people that is my favorite thing. And there's so many ways that we can really use tools and resources, even outside of that, to keep clients engaged and focused on what the plan is so they can find success. Of all the things, one of my favorite things to talk about is habit tracking within the HSN app. So let's say we are focusing on hydration or veggies or anything like that. I have them check it off as they're sending me pictures of their veggies as well to tell me and tell themselves, like, are you following through with the plan? How consistent are you with that plan? And we all know that consistency really is the number one thing we need to find success. A good way to think about this, things that are not measured are not managed. So huge way to provide value between those in-person meetings is tracking habits, staying focused.
Absolutely. I just did a training webinar, right? And after that training webinar, I had a live Q&A, and one of the gym owners was like, hey, what kind of value are you providing between those in-person visits? Habit tracking is key, but then also providing some education is a great thing too, so that you don't feel as much pressure when you are in sessions with clients to give them all the knowledge. So like at HSN, we have different programs set up where each week or each day, new videos will pop up onto client's profile related to simple nutrition tips, related to how sleep is impacting your nutrition, how stress is impacting your nutrition, how your nutrition is impacting your stress and your mindset, simple kitchen tips, healthy recipes, so that you're not feeling as much pressure to say all of that in the session. And if you aren't an HSN mentoring client, I would challenge you to start creating some content, maybe make some automated email sequences so that your clients can get some value between those in-person sessions. And of course, messaging, right? Check-ins with clients is another key piece.
Absolutely. Here's the thing we need to remember. Most of us know what we need to do or what we should be doing in order to achieve our goals, but that does not make us great doers. And this is one of our biggest values as a nutrition coach, having someone check in at a consistent basis to make sure you're doing that makes all the difference, right? And again, if they're more consistent, more successful, they're happier, they're going to want to work with you longer. And at HSN, this looks like a few different ways for our messages. One of my favorite things would be we can actually schedule check-in messages via the app. And I love to do this right after a meeting. And I check in on days that are special, like travel days. Hey, Nicole, I know today's a travel day. Remember, bring your water bottle, find your protein, and have the best time. Or welcome home. Another standout for me is I always say grocery shopping days or meal prep days. Happy grocery shopping day. Don't forget to grab those things for the ingredients, for the recipes that you're going to be making this week to set ourselves up for success. And when they get those messages, one, again, their goals come back to the forefront of their mind. They can refocus on it, but then they're thinking, hey, Coach Kayla remembered I'm traveling today, or Coach Kayla remembered I'm going to the grocery store today, or Coach Kayla just reminded me that I need to go to the grocery store today. And all of those add a whole bunch of value and the support that you get to provide to your clients. Now, another way these messages can look, which has been a fan favorite and increasing engagement, are video messages in the app, which truly is a game changer.
Yeah, video messages, checking in with compliance because we have habit tracking, right? So if you're checking in and seeing, oh man, my clients are doing awesome, you don't just want to give feedback. You also want to provoke them to think about how they're going to stay consistent. So Kayla, if you're working on vegetables for lunch and you did super well with it this week, I'm going to say, hey, Kayla, how'd you feel adding in those vegetables? How'd you feel in the afternoon? Did you feel a little bit more satisfied? How was your energy level? Most importantly, how are you going to stay consistent with that going into the weekend, which we know is a little bit tougher to stay on track. Now I'm celebrating like, hey, awesome job. I'm having you think about how that habit is affecting other things down the road, down the day. And then also, how are you going to stay consistent? Because ultimately, and we said this a bunch of times, consistency is the driver of results.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And one of the cool things that we've been seeing from these video messages is when a client decides to send their update via a video message. My day is automatically made when I get those. I think they're clear, they're to the point, and it's so much more personable, right? We've said this when it comes to marketing, but video content, when people can see your face, hear your voice, and really hear your message, you are building a strong relationship and you are showing that you are truly invested in your client's success, and they feel that.
Absolutely. All right. So top mistakes, but on the other end, top mistakes, thinking that your values around macros and meal plans, not providing self-management and not really looking at the value you're providing between those in-person sessions. When you do all of these things, when you do the tips and go the opposite direction, you're going to increase engagement, increase client results, and ultimately be able to provide a better coaching program for your clients and more successful for you as a business. Let's talk about one factor. And I know this is one of the driving forces for us is helping coaches feel really confident. One of the things, we have two lenses that we look at everything through HSN mentoring before any programs or any updates or any time invested from our leadership team is this going to set the business up for success? And is this helping coaches become more confident? And if the answer is yes to those things, then we move forward with the decision and start creating those things to help coaches and help the business. But so many people go through a variety of different online courses, watching videos, taking quizzes, and that doesn't translate into a confident coach. Like, think back if you're a CrossFit trainer, think back to when you took your level 1. There was practical experience, but were you super confident going and teaching your first class after your level 1? And there was interaction with the experts there beyond just online training. Even the online CrossFit level 1, there is a 4-hour online component where you're working with an expert. Most nutrition coaches, coaching programs and certifications, all of them do not have that. They don't have that. And that is, I would say, the big differentiator between our mentoring program, the individual coaching course, even the one-day challenge intensive training that we have. It provides mentoring to help coaches, gym owners be confident in the program that they're delivering.
Absolutely. I really think that is what makes this course, right, stand apart. What makes HSN different, right? And why is it important? We really did keep, increasing the confidence of coaches in the forefront of our mind. And through that lens, we came up with Coaching the Coaches, which we've kind of prefaced early on. So let me tell you a little bit more about that. Anytime you start any of the HSN tracks to become a certified HSN coach, you get 6 weeks of what we call Coaching the Coaches program with our expert nutrition coaches. And what that's all about is hands-on real life experience of what the habit-based approach with the tools and resources that we provide is all about, what it feels like and the impact that it can make. But while we spend a good amount of time on your specific goals and you experiencing firsthand the habit-based approach with your own nutrition coach, we're also implementing ample opportunity for that practical application. And I think that is such a huge missing piece. So what does it look like? Well, first, within the 6 weeks, there is a whole call dedicated to role play. That's right. During this time, we actually start to flip the script. So coaches, after learning about important aspects of coaching, they get to try it on for size. And then they get that real-time feedback so they can continue to increase their confidence in what they're learning. And all of this is to set them up for the very end of the course, which is a 60-minute HSN expert evaluation. You're going to walk us through that initial consultation. You're going to show us the summation of everything that you've learned, all the role play that you've gathered, and you're going to really knock it out of the park. And again, get that real-time feedback. What are the bright spots? What are the wins that are your strengths really shining through? And what are some of the areas that we can continue to improve upon so we can ensure, one, that you're feeling confident, but two, that you are providing the best service to your clients?
At the end of the day, confidence doesn't happen overnight, right? Like you need practice, you need continued development. If you look at any successful person, they all have mentors. They all have people that are many steps or a few steps ahead of them, helping them. And as a nutrition coach, especially in a gym, or if you're trying to build your own private practice or going through one of these certifications to start a side hustle, you're not typically surrounding yourself with a group of people or people that are ahead of you to provide feedback and teach you how to become an effective nutrition coach. Can you end up launching a program? Absolutely. Are you going to be the most effective? Absolutely not. I can tell you from my personal experience, the reason why we've been successful is because I've hired mentors early on, and I figure out what are the areas that I'm not good at as a leader and in business, and how am I going to pair myself with someone who can help me get there. And that value, you leading that program, is so valuable for new coaches to fast track their confidence.
Yeah, that has been the number one feedback is getting comfortable. Being uncomfortable and role play has really been a game changer for a lot of coaches. And not to mention, HSN mentoring continues with that ongoing support, continues with that ongoing development, again, to make sure that you're up to date on best practices so you can best serve your clients, but ensure that you're always perfecting your craft. There's new information coming out all the time, and we want you to be confident with the direction that you're taking things every step of the way. So many opportunities for continued development, expansion, resources, and expert mentor calls every single month. I know I always look forward to mine. So much that goes into this.
No, we get quite a few questions related to, okay, if I'm deciding between Precision Nutrition and you guys, like we're pretty much the two main habit-based coaching program certifications out there. I don't know of any others. Which one is the right track for me? And when I've taken Precision Nutrition, we work super closely with them. We have a great partnership with them. I think it's a really good course, but I do think a lot of the time in that course is spent on the details of metabolism, metabolic pathways, the science, and like all of the nitty gritty. And there's not a lot of information about application. How does it look coaching clients? Like, what about stress, sleep management, support system, all of these other aspects? How do I focus on a holistic approach? If you want to focus on a holistic approach and just go the precision nutrition route, you're going to have to pay for a whole different course. That's another 60 hours of training versus, hey, a 20-hour course if you're doing the Healthy Steps Nutrition Coach certification, which is the independent coach track, or if you're a gym looking to build a successful nutrition coaching program, the mentoring track is a little bit longer because we focus a lot on the business side and you have more support there. That the training is for an owner and a coach. Either way, the goal of our program is to help coaches feel really confident, focusing on a habit-based and a holistic coaching program to best support your clients to become the best versions of themselves. All right. Question for you. Mm-hmm. We have been talking about something. There's a problem that I would say a lot of gyms have. They're growing their nutrition coaching programs and they're like, Nicole, I don't have a great fit. Or even when I have new gyms call me, they say, Nicole, we want to run HSN. I don't have a coach that is passionate about nutrition. I don't have anyone that comes to mind that would be a great fit to support the role of my program. First answer to that is think of nurses, social workers, teachers, people who've been through their own transformation. But there is something that we've been working on the back end to say like, hey, is there a way that we can support these guys to have a coach that would be easier to step into? And to be honest, it happened organically with a lot of the mentoring clients, right? Nutrition coaches move to another state or another city, and they're like, where's the closest HSN gym that I can work at? Right. Mm-hmm. And then they end up like plugging in. I think of Liz, and she just got hired with not just, but Whole Strength. Right. Mm-hmm. So, they were easily able to plug her in. There was minimal training time because she is already super familiar with the platform and everything. And yep. We have been putting our brains around how can we support this on like a bigger level, to set up gym owners for success to scale. What did you come up with, and what the heck is the match program?
Yes. Have you heard about the HSN match? This was our solution to this huge gap. The number one issue that we are hearing is struggling with hiring a nutrition coach. So basically, if you're a coach or an aspiring nutrition coach, but maybe not interested in doing the whole shebang, starting your own business, you would go through the Healthy Steps Nutrition Coaching course, which comes with everything that we've discussed, online modules, and the practical application with the 6 weeks of coaching. After that, upon successful completion of the expert HSN evaluation, we want to connect you with an existing program in your area.
I think this is going to be a huge success. We've had multiple people reach out to us that are like, I'm not super interested. I want to work for a gym. It would be great if there was a gym that was already partnered with you guys. I want to do nutrition coaching. I believe in this. I want to help people. How can I become a coach? You have to go through that standalone nutrition coaching track. And even if you want to do the whole shebang with building your own business and become an independent coach, the first step for you is to complete the nutrition coaching certification. We've changed around, we've doubled down, focusing on gym owners first. We do have some independent coaches that are absolutely amazing, killing it, supporting people with nutrition as an independent nutrition coach. But the first step of that, I don't want to waste your time, and I want to set everyone up for success. You have to finish and complete that coach evaluation, and then you'd be invited to the mentoring program if you want to open up your own independent practice using the mentoring program.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, as a gym owner, I really want to get the message across that if you are a gym owner listening to this, I want you to have the confidence in the fact that they're going through all of the HSN training and needing to pass the HSN evaluation so that when we're making this recommendation, it's a good recommendation and you can smoothly transition that person, that coach into the program, getting them more clients, really continuing to scale your program in the most streamlined way possible.
From a gym owner standpoint, the liability is off of you, right? Because someone has to take their own initiative to go through the training, to get certified, to finish the course, and then we're pairing them with you, not you investing a lot of your time on the front end. We're saying, hey, this person's a good fit. They're ready to go. They're ready to support the growth of the program. Yes, of course, they'll need to shadow a little bit, to make it an extra smooth transition, but the legwork is done at that point for you. So my recommendation, if you are a gym owner using HSN that's listening to this, send this podcast or at least the last few minutes to maybe a potential person that you think would be a good fit to help support the role of the program, because we would love to get them trained up, have them go through the standalone coaching course, and then eventually, once they're done, pair them to help support the growth of your program.
Absolutely. It's all about the HSN match.
HSN match. I love it. Kayla, thank you so much for all that you do. Our clients are successful and our coaches are confident because of the work that you're putting behind the scenes with all of the coach development, the resources, the additional trainings, the evaluation process, everything. You head up the Coaching the Coaches program. You're a breath of fresh air, and I'm lucky to have you on our team.
Thank you for all the amazing opportunities, and I'm excited for everything that's to come.
I hope you enjoyed that podcast episode with Kayla. I hope you learned some things. And if you made some of those mistakes, or you're thinking, I'm probably making those mistakes right now, I get it. We've all been there. Hopefully you can take some of those tips and start improving your coaching experience so that you can better support your clients. They'll stay longer. You'll be able to, at the end of the day, make a greater impact. At HSN Mentoring, our mission is to empower confident nutrition coaches. If we are going to help transform the lives of 1 million people, we need more coaches feeling confident to have their boots on the ground and make a greater impact in their communities. If you're a gym owner or looking to become a nutrition coach, make sure you click link in the show notes so that you can learn more about how we can help you through HSN Mentoring and our standalone coaching certification course, the Healthy Steps Nutrition Coaching Certification. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a review. It really helps this podcast reach more people. I have to say, you definitely want to subscribe because you do not want to miss next week's episode. I had the opportunity to sit down with Don Fall, the CEO of CrossFit. He's been in this position for about 5 months now. We talked about where CrossFit is headed in the coming years,
how he is planning to bridge the gap between CrossFit sport and the people that are transforming their lives and reversing chronic disease inside of gyms every single day. We talk about CrossFit health, and of course, I had to bring up nutrition. It was a really fun conversation, and I don't want you to miss it, so make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We'll see you back here next week.